What's going on, guys? Sergeant Guy here, back with a new Let's Play of Shadow of the Colossus for the PlayStation 4. Now, I know what you're thinking, or some of you might not be thinking, I don't know, where have you been for 3 years? Now, basically, I started YouTube back in August of 2015, and at the time, I was just after finishing my second last year of school, and by the time the end of August rolled around, there was only a month left before I went back to school, so I just decided to give it up for a while, and I was originally going to try and do it during my last year of school, but I just didn't have the time with the amount of work. So yeah, that's basically why I haven't been around for the last while. But we're getting back into it now. I decided to play Shadow of the Colossus because I asked a couple of my friends what game they'd like to see somebody play, like not necessarily me, but just in general. And like I gave them a couple of options, and Shadow of the Colossus was what they said. Now the day that this is being uploaded is Tuesday, but I plan on uploading this on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I'm going to put another game in Monday, Wednesday and Friday, being either, it's probably going to be Uncharted 4 or maybe Doom or something like that. But the reason why I was originally going to make this the main series on the channel, like Monday, Wednesday and Friday, but I decided to do it Tuesday and Thursday just because the game isn't very long, so we'll be able to like hash it out in 2 or 3 weeks, like as opposed to like Uncharted that could take a lot longer. So yeah, so that's basically it. That's where I've been for the last while. I'm finished my college exams now, so I won't be back in college until September. So I have plenty of time to make YouTube videos now. Other than that, I'll just be working in between, but I don't have a full-time job, so there won't be that much working going on. But yeah, so I decided to play Shadow of the Colossus. I gave that to my friends as an option because I've only ever played this game once when I came out on the PlayStation 4, because I wasn't one of those people that played it on the PlayStation 2, so I don't really have any history with the game. So other than playing it the one time I did earlier on in the year, I don't really have much, nostalgia for the game. So I'm more or less going into this blind again because when I got the game, there was another game I wanted coming out, so I basically rushed through this so that I'd have time to play the new game that I wanted to play. So this didn't get as much attention as it probably should have gotten. And like, it is a cult classic really, with the likes of Ocarina of Time and Super Mario 64 and the likes of Earthbound for the SNES. So it is a game that I've wanted to play for a good while, but I never got around to it until the PlayStation 4 remake, and I am happy I played the game because the game is amazing. The people who worked on this game have only made one previous game to this and one after. They made Eco for the PlayStation 2, and they made this for the PlayStation 2 originally, and then they made The Last Guardian more recently. I'm sure most of you have heard of that. Whether it's good or bad now, I haven't really played it, but I've heard a lot of mixed reports of it. Some people really like it and some people think it's bad, so it's kind of just up to your personal preference, I'd say. There is one thing I agree with people on when it comes to this game, and that is that the controls are they're not bad by any means, but they just take a while to get used to because they're a bit different than other games. Like, things that you'd expect to be one button are a different button in this game. Now I'm gonna be quiet now for a second because the first actual cutscene in the game is coming up, and there's not a huge amount of cutscenes in the game. There's just more or less the first one and then the one at the very end. There's not really much in between story wise. Like, most of the story is explained to you in the beginning and the end. I think it's going to ask me now what difficulty I want to play on first before we see this cutscene. I'm going to go ahead and play on normal because there's no point in playing on easy because you might as well not even be playing the game, and I don't really need to play the game on hard mode because I've only played it once and it's going to be hard enough for me to remember where the Colossi are, never mind trying to kill myself trying to kill them. I must play it on hard mode at some point though, because I'm planning on getting the platinum trophy in this game, so I'll have to finish the game, and I think it's 5 hours and 42 minutes or something. on hard mode. Now I finished it in like 5 hours on normal mode before, and a lot of that was wasted time just walking between Colossi and then realising I went the wrong way.
Was Yuhik Aurel Yekorol Ikuduibikuka Yulbzolu Iondu Yulilokok Ayuzi Yulakordoloya Olik Olazulam Kaz Ilzozeriku Atzoko Amnos Kludu Laomism Wop was Uediulas also. View houses is view. Ikolor Kizado you Lola. Islis Pozaiuku. Aumizukikil. You are la Kika.
dormi before Aurora. Ostu Hailwa Wukiwaikwa. Ujes Yazur Zudoko was Nordekyo Wutiria.
I will answer. I will leave you item. Don't be killed.
Is Kimku. It is all of you Iweriko. It's not ours amusement. Alu Tiklik. If it leads to Iso.
Was it's wrong, you know. Elaka always is Anatuku. You echoes you. Pedally no cool. You are do. No. You do. Oh, you could.
Uronora.
Ransom could come around you. You are a good.
Oil. I'll bet.
I was difficult. No certain kiss, no cuddle. On those around us. I worry could do. Error was no use. It was a do. It was do.
You do. You bet, Sanada.
Cool. I won't do. Was no use. Oh, you and Bill cry upside. Was you and Bill, or Ikun, Zula, Mukira Jura. Nosus, Hiroya Kadu, Mukodo.
Oram.
You was no zero. You were our
Ola. You do new.
no cool. It were arrow. I would join. I was you arrow. Ikon. Dance around here. Car after.
And so that is basically what we have to work with in a nutshell. We have to basically go around killing these Colossi for Dorman, and in return it says that it will heal her or bring her back to life or whatever. Now I'm not 100% sure, I'm not positive whether they actually explain this in the game, but I'm not 100% sure who that person is. I don't know if it's meant to be his girlfriend or his sister or what she's meant to be. I don't think it's explained in the game, but people just make their assumptions as to what she is. And you might notice they said it for Dorman, because I don't know if you would have heard it, but there was two voices, male and female, so that's why I said it. This lad's name is, I think it's Wanderer or Wander, one or the other. Although I'm not sure if that's his actual name or if it's just that he is a wanderer. And the horse's name is Agro. Our first Colossi is up here. Now, as Dorman explained, if you hold your sword up to the light, it'll more or less point you in the direction of where you need to be going. Now, I didn't use it there now because I remember where the first two Colossi are, so I don't really need it at the moment. I'll be using it later on, definitely, but I just felt the need to explain that. I'd also like to thank my friends Colm, Stephen and Ross for suggesting this game. I got a few responses for other games, but they were the ones that more or less led me to believe that this would be a good game to let's play. So just a shout out to them. Now this is kind of where the problems with the controls come in. Now I don't have a problem with it now because I'm well used to them at this stage, but the first time I played this, it took me about 10 minutes to climb up this whole thing because I couldn't get to grips with how the climbing worked at all. So here we have our first Colossi up here, and his name is Valus. He is one of the bipedal Colossi, and he's also one of the biggest. Other than a couple towards the end, he's pretty big. Most of the other Colossi are a bit smaller than he is. So basically what you're going to want to do is to kill these Colossi. You're going to want to climb on their body and you're going to want to stab their weak points. Now for Valus here, you can see that he has a crack in his leg. That is one of his weak points. So if you stab him in the leg, if I can actually stab him, he should collapse onto the ground. There we go. And then you can use that to climb. Now, as you can see from that weak point, that's only a bit of a crack in him. That's not going to be one of his main weak points. That's kind of, you're just going to use that really to knock him over, because it doesn't do much damage, that weak point, compared to the one further up. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, you can see my grip gauge, and as you can see, I'm basically, I'm probably gonna fall. No, oh thank god. But yeah, basically when that runs out, you fall. Nearly fell again. And the blue bar in the top left hand corner is the Colossi's health. We have a health bar down in the left hand corner as well, but it's not showing at the moment because I haven't taken any damage yet. Now for Valus, his weak point is on his head. Like a few of the Colossi, most of them do have a weak spot on their head. Now it's not necessarily their weakest point, but a lot of them do have a weak point on their head, and as you can see, this is a lot more obvious compared to the one on his leg, because stabbing it does a lot more damage to him. And as you can see, this black stuff is pouring out of him. And one more. And that's all she wrote as the first Colossi dead. And then the black soul pours out of him and is sucked into ourselves. A lot of people have a problem with this game just because they don't understand why you're killing these innocent beasts. Absolutely, none of them attack you at all unless you attack them, so people just don't understand why the person you play as is so willing to kill them just to bring this person back to life. And you know, people are even more against it because they don't even know who she is, so they don't understand why they should be invested into killing these things for no reason, just because Dorman asked them to. So as you can see here, Wanderer is lying here on the ground, and the black soul from the first Colossi is standing beside him. And this is another thing with killing them, is that every single one of them is there beside you when after you kill them and you respawn back at the monastery. So yeah, that's more or less how every cutscene plays out from now until the end of the game. You respawn on the ground in the monastery or the church or whatever you want to call it. Um, One of those idols breaks and the souls from the Colossi are standing beside you, and then Dorman just tells you where you have to go next for the next Colossi. He'll either tell you a specific location or, like, you know, just a landmark around, like he said, the seaside cave there, so I know where that is, so I'm not going to bother using the sword, but just to give you an idea of what it is. Now you see there, oh sorry, they're going to show us about these altars now, which basically, if you pray at them, they heal you completely, which your grip and everything is restored. So I don't think they'll really be necessary in this Let's Play now compared to if I was playing on hard. But anyway, this is what it looks like anyway. If you like, this is the completely wrong direction because all the light is in the opposite direction of one another. But if I turn around completely, we see that the light is pointing more or less directly there, so that's kind of where we need to be going. And basically this is what the game is about. Wander just goes around killing these Colossi in the hopes of bringing his girlfriend slash sister or whatever she is back to life. So it is an acquired taste of a game. You're either going to like the boss fights and the game is going to be really fun, or if you're not into boss fights, you're not going to like it at all, because unlike a lot of games like this, there's not a huge amount of story other than at the beginning and at the very end. So I'm just going to go ahead and kill this last Colossus, or the second Colossi, before I finish off the video. But yeah, so the game is very big, as you can probably tell by how small Wander and the horse is compared to the whole of everything else, the open plains and everything. And this whole thing is a forbidden land that humans aren't allowed to enter, so we are not going to see any more humans at all until towards the end of the game. There's more or less nothing living here other than these Colossi and a couple of salamanders that you might see walking around that actually boost your health gauge permanently, so if I find any of those I'll be killing them as well. But that is basically anything that's in the game. A couple of birds you'll see as well, but that's it. The game is more or less a desolate wasteland where nothing lives. And Wander is breaking many rules of his tribe or society or whatever you want to call it by coming here. Now this next Colossi we're coming up against is called Quadratus, and he is our first quadruped Colossi in this game. He will not be the last. Like the first Colossi, he's not particularly hard to defeat. It's just you have to kind of employ a different strategy with him compared to Valus. It's not just as simple as climbing up him. I'm just going to go ahead and get off aggro here, and instead of using the sword I'm going to use the bow and arrow. I'm not 100% positive if you can do this without the bow and arrow or if you have to use it, but basically you see those green weak spots on his feet, that's what we're going to have to try and hit to knock him over. If I can, yeah, there we go. I'm going to change back to the sword now. Another thing I didn't mention with Valus is that the only part of the Colossi you can climb is like anything that's sticking out, like if there's a ledge or something sticking out of them, or hair, you can't grab onto their skin just as it is. Quadratus is one of the bigger quadruped Colossi as well. Actually, I find it strange, I find the Colossi that are harder to defeat are the smaller ones because they're just faster and they're harder to get a good attack in on. So as you can see here, Quadratus has this weak spot here, and he also has another one on his head, so that's what we're going to want to stab away at. If I was playing on hard mode now, he'd have an extra one. And see, they don't let you abuse this either, because after his health goes down a good bit they won't let you keep using the same weak point, so I just can't stay here permanently. See the way it disappears. So they force you to go to the other weak points, otherwise everybody would just stay in the one place and it'd be way too easy. But But as far as I know, the only real difference with playing on hard mode is that the Colossi just, oh no, Jesus, don't fall. It's just that the Colossi have more weak spots than in normal. Like, I don't think they're any harder to defeat. They have more health, I think, as well. But other than that, like, they're not harder to climb onto. Or they're not, like, you know, they're not able to throw you off better. Now that's as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure. But as you can see here, Quadratus isn't particularly hard either. This is his last weak point, and as I said, with most of the Colossi, they do have a weak spot on their head. Some of them don't, but most of them do. Like, it makes sense for them to have a weak spot on their head anyway. I don't think I'm hitting this in the proper location because I'm not taking away as much of his health as I should be. One or two more should do it anyway. Oh no, we're going to fall again probably. Hopefully not. I don't know why I'm not taking away much of his health. I must just be not charging the sword for long enough. Okay, good, I nearly fell there. That would have been a problem. There we go. That's 2 out of 16 dead now. Here's the soul pouring out again. And into wonder it goes. So that's going to be it for this video, guys, more or less. I'm just going to let this cutscene play out again, and then that'll be it. Please leave a like if you liked the video and subscribe, and if you have any constructive criticism, please leave it in the comments. Actually, just if you wouldn't mind me asking, would you mind telling me whether you think the audio for the game or the microphone is too loud, just so I can adjust that in the next video? That would be much appreciated, guys. And if you have anybody who might be interested in the series, let them know that I'm playing it and that they can watch me play it if they'll like me or whatever. And I'll be continuing this, as I said, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then another game will be Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Haven't decided which one yet. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I will be back again on Thursday. I've been Sergeant Guy, and good luck.